if we really value family life, where would it be best to raise a family? The East or the West?
I believe that Muslims should now be trying to save their families because you can lose your whole family in a few generations the way things are going. You chasing that money and you were so busy with working and everything. So you can't keep tabs on what's going on with your family. And the way that you're explaining it, and I hear that from a lot of people, is that once you get into that, you busy here, your kids busy somewhere else. They on the TikToks, they're on the whatever apps, Instagrams and everything, and they out in the streets and they dealing with a lot of times they have to deal with influences from different cultures. Of course, if they go into public schools or even, unfortunately, even in some Islamic schools, they're getting exposed to these things that tend to lead them in a different direction. I think that I take it for granted that when you go to the Muslim world, the overwhelming culture is one of family. So much so that if you have a child and you don't have proof that you're married, you cannot get a birth certificate, which means that the child cannot go to school and can't do anything. And the way that they deal with it is, and not to say it's the right way, but the way they deal with it is they say, okay, what they used to do back in the day with the shotgun marriage. Like, okay, you did that, now y'all got to go ahead and make it right, And that's not the popular thing, but that's what they have to do to save the honor of the family. And in some places, like, honor killings are real. I'm not pro honor killing,
right?
But you'll hear about a woman that's known in the village of being loose, and they'll take her out to the cornfields or wherever, to the grass, and whatever. Not saying that that's the right thing to do, but I'm saying that's how much or how important culturally family is, And then also another thing is in the naming of people. These are all things you can just observe. Even in your community, you can go to an Egyptian guy and say, tell me your name, your 4 names, right? So it'd be Ahmed, Muhammad, Mahmoud, something, right? And all these people are his lineage, and they can go further than that. Like that's just the 4, right? But they can go all the way back. Lineage in Islam, period, is important, and is to be protected. So when you come into these environments in the Muslim world, when it comes to family, that's a given. And it's sometimes hard to understand when you deal with people. Like, they really don't, generally speaking, you have the outliers, right? But generally speaking, people are gonna know their family, and what the community thinks about them is important, especially for women. If the community thinks a woman is, trying to find a better word, but let's just say a whore, if they think she's a whore, right? Then she's gonna get harassed by everybody. It's gonna be a big deal. So,
all right, when you say harassed, that can be done a couple different ways. Harassed as in people saying, yo, that's not a good person. Harassed as in ridiculing, or harassed as in, hey, girl.
It's in from the good people, like people that have some moral values, it'll be like shamed. And then from people who's dirty, then it's gonna be like, well, what about me? So that's real, and that goes from the poorest, and then of course you have more wealthy people, and the wealthy people tend to try to live a Western type lifestyle. Like, they look up to the West and what's happening in the West, and a lot of times you'll find, and you know this to be true, that the fake gangsters are more dangerous than the real ones a lot of times. Real ones have a code that they follow,
right?
And the fake ones are just trying to be like that, so they just act wild and everything. So it's the same thing here. Like, when people want to imitate the West, they look at movies, and a lot of times it's not really how it is. It's kind of exaggerated. So they take it from there and then further. So you have that, but that's like a real small minority, and most people won't accept that. The common people, which are the majority of people, won't accept that. Look, it's nothing for a child to grow up as a virgin here. And that's weird to a lot of people in the West. Like, being a virgin, if you were a virgin when I was growing up, you would lie about it. Like, no, I ain't no virgin,
Well, in high school, I mean, sadly, there's surveys that go out, and already virginity on average lost by about 15 and a half, 16 and a half years old.
Yeah.
When we look at it, statistically speaking, they say that 25%, these are only the people that reported, only they say 25% of women before they are 18 years old have been sexually molested. All right, now that in the Black American community, that's over 60%. And that's not even including the boys, which it also happens to.
To see the full episode of this podcast, like and subscribe to the channel, and show support by going to makehijrah.com and signing up.